welcome to the North Band. North Bend Band, trying to do two things at once. Amber Yester, this is Chuck Bolton. Make a few comments as you perform. Good tight playing there, brass. The runs are quite good. They're rhythmical as well. Get too long and heavy there. So you have 5 tubas. You have the record. No, 4 tubas. Yeah, keep all the runs and things. They got to be sure they end right on one. Yeah, be sure all these rhythmic patterns bring out the pulse. Don't overblow, trombone. Strong, yes, but stay on the edge. Don't go over the edge. Stay up in pitch, oboe. Careful, what is it, bass drum, timpani? I can't tell. Be sure you don't play too loud. We get kind of a rumble going. Yeah, bass drum is nice, but not too much, especially on this stage with that bass drum. So oboe, be sure you have a tuner sitting on your stand turned on, and you can check some pitches as you're playing. Nice there, that low brass choir, even more. Keep the pitch notes there. Okay, 3 bars from the end, softer. You might even cut down to 1 on a part there on the little beat up, so that you can do the big, you do a nice crescendo there. Or maybe you don't want a crescendo there. Then I just leave 1 on a part there. Anyway, a ton of work. Make that thing work and play. Nice job. Very nice job. Lots of good stuff. Voice and song for Lyndsay. Nice job, Warren. Listen to your pitch. That unison flute and clarinet was out of tune. Yeah, tune that D. Since it seems to occur a lot in this piece, if I remember correctly. Maybe a little more on first, but quite good. Okay, piano and percussion, listen like crazy to the flute, because you can't just play your part. Even though your directors, there's no rubato there, everything just has to be perfectly in time, lined up and supporting the melody. So Amber at 35, definitely put your baton down and make them play it without a conductor, just listening. Equal decrescendo for 2 bars, then forte again, and decrescendo. Even though it's going fortissimo forte, you could almost do fortissimo there just to make a point of that decrescendo. Horn, sing out that part more, and by that I mean I feel that you're not playing da 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 da. It goes da da da. That everything is connected and crescendoing and lots of full breaths and air, because you can play it stronger and smoother. Okay, 76. Too much of the dotted half notes is full. Be sure that we hear the melody, the flutes and the first trumpet without having to blow over the top. It's getting a little bit too heavy and thick here. Be sure all the eighth notes and all the moving parts are really coming through strong and even. it's got to be smoother there, clarinet. Da, 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 legato tongue. And play a little stronger. Good. Nice full sound. Be sure that you're moving together in a few of those places and some of the melodic lines. The slow tunes are always the hardest. Okay, excellent low brass woodwinds. So it's got an excellent bottom to the band, which makes a huge difference. Nice clarinets there. You need to phrase a little bit more. Start soft and build into that third measure and back down and up again. Pretty good there, flutes. That's a deadly note to come in on. Blow deep through that dee da 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 and back off. Dee, dee, da, da. Again, got to phrase this musically, cantabile. Da-dee-do. Good entrance there, horns. With the clarinet. You got to slur that. Dee-da-ee-ah-dum. Legato tongue if you need to. Their tubas. Yeah, the tubas really lead that, and flutes stay up in pitch. It's going to start sagging on those top notes there. Oh boy, you got to listen to the pitch there and tune in with the rhythm. A little more in the cymbal there, or gong, whatever it is, ching. More on B2. Be sure the tempo blocks and flutes end together. Yeah, that's 72, 73 is just death. I think that whole last section I just take a notch slower, so things like 72 and 73 will be cleaner. And then be sure you pulse it, so that you do end up stronger. And even if you have some problems in 72, 73, it's the last beat coming out that's got to be there. It's got to be pushed through. Nice low woodwind brass. Actually, it's low woodwinds. Yes, nice job. Nice horn. Is that horn? Yeah, an alto and flute. Nice line there. Keep the pitch up, flutes. Don't put a big break. ta-da-da-ta-da-da-ta, more on the beat, especially beat 2. Bass drum you're dragging. Might be timpani, but we're slowing down. Maybe a little lighter. More pulse in the drum. Now timpani, once it sets, you can back away a little bit. Just keep the pulse part. Dun. Yeah, get some pitch there. Yeah, we need more of that sweep. Ring. Got to get more notes in there. Even if it's not the right note. So you start on the right note and end the right note and do a crescendo, it'll come out. You edited up the 16th notes. Maybe a tighter head on the drum would give us more definition. So snare, you need to back off a little bit, bar 214, so we hear all the entrances of the flutes and clarinets. Then when we get everybody in, well, come on, you got to come in stronger there. Where is that? Yeah, when tubas come in a bar 227, the low instruments there, you got to come in more to establish that bottom. Yep, more at the end, woodwinds. Come down more. Good ending. So the whole last section you got some more work to do on, and you can play it at that speed. But every judge knows, and everybody who's ever played this piece knows that bar 72 and 73 are just going to be. So if you play it just a little slower, that first section, and go for a little more accuracy, then you can make that. And then the last part, you can go ahead and keep that tempo going. I can't remember if they're marked the same speed or not. I'm flipping pages here, trying to see. So that's marked 132. The last part's 144, is it? Yeah, 144, I was right. So if you take the vivace, I don't know exactly what tempo you took it at, but take it a notch slower and then play the last one like you did, then you still got all the speed and the impression, but you eliminate some mistakes. Anything that sounds bad, you got to, and it did sound bad, but anything that you want to, that you're not happy with, you got to figure out a way to make it better. And a lot of times we just little tempo changes make a difference. Good band, very good. Your program is a difficult one. All three pieces are challenging, and you've got a big band, so some of the things a little harder to play clean. You might consider in a few places having the top half of the band play. I'm just talking in generalities now, the technical things, to get a little cleaner, maybe a little softer at times, have more precision, and just to make things better. But excellent. Great job. Thank you.
Good morning, North Bend High School Symphonic Band. My name is Dr. Jason Gossett. I teach here at Oregon State University in the Instrumental Music Education Department. I'm looking forward to listening to your performance. Most of my comments today will be aimed at the students, so listen to them and take them in a constructive manner. I'm going to hopefully offer things that will help you perform this music better. And it looks like you're performing some great stuff, so I'm really looking forward to hearing you. I'm going to let you listen to yourselves first. Okay, clarinets and these triplet figures that you've got, basically you're playing an entire triplet across the first and second clarinets on beat one. Let's make sure that we're real clear and we're kind of matching each other timing-wise for those triplets. Anytime we have any repeated pitches, fast repeated pitches, 16th notes and 8th notes, especially in this ensemble that's so large, and in this hall, you got to really emphasize the shortness of notes, putting more space between the notes. Let's listen to flutes and pick. Let's listen to intonation. So measure 100. Da, 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 da. The long notes need to kind of lead into the short notes. Da 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 da. I'll stop singing now. Yeah, that's way too hard a mallet for the vibraphone. You'll need a softer mallet there. And then you probably want to pull the vibraphone out to the edge more so it can be heard with a softer mallet, but it's not a good timbre for that section. Kind of jumped out of the texture. It sounded wrong because it was so stark to what everyone else is doing. don't drop that phrase there. Be careful. Brass, we don't want to take a great big breath before measure 154. We want to make sure we build and lead into the last measure. Okay, flutes, let's really listen. Big dog! We're not under that pitch. Okay. Oh, nice job, nice job. Really nice moments. We're really starting to understand the character of that piece. There's some things that kind of popped out. Some moments, maybe soloists were too loud. I'm thinking it's an oboe soloist towards the middle of that piece. I felt it was maybe a little too loud for the texture she was playing over. Some moments where the low brass kind of poked out a little bit. It seemed very, an abrupt change. And then pay attention to the mallet selection of that piece. Is so timbral in quality and plays with lots of different timbres. We want to make sure that we are putting equal attention to those timbres. Okay, fill up the horn with more air, and this really should be like you were singing. In fact, I would highly encourage you to spend some time just singing the horn part here. Sing your solo and be super expressive with it. Each note has a particular direction it's trying to go, and it's either going to someplace or coming from someplace. And so really take some liberties to be more expressive with that horn solo. Okay, so let's balance a little bit better. We want to hear more of the trombone voice there, and that way, because the trumpets are going to be heard because it's a moving line, all the eighth notes and dotted quarter eighths. The trombones aren't. So let's make sure we hear that in the texture, and then let the trumpets stick out by the virtue of their moving line, not necessarily their volume. This section at 50, every time I hear it, I want to hear more like waves crashing on the beach. Each wave gets a little bit smaller, but at the end of each decrescendo, we come back louder into the next measure. I think doing that a little bit more than what I'm hearing right now would give us that wave motion, or that wave sound. Be more dance-like, lighter articulation, lighter sounding. You're dancing on top of the melody line there. D. I don't know where the melody is. I don't know if it's that the band is playing too loud or the melody is not playing out enough. It doesn't sound like we're listening across the ensemble to find out, though. Be sure not to rush those eighth notes, bells and vibraphone. Make sure we're looking up at the conductor for that. That's a nice expressive moment you can have there. We don't often get those in the percussion section. Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time. Let it breathe. Yeah, I felt like towards the end we kind of rushed to the end of this piece rather than taking our time and kind of letting some of the moments hang in the air. We have a really nice moment to be delicate with that piano part, and we kind of pushed to the end. So. There's a clarinet sticking out up here. I hope you can hear this. My tape recorder is doing something funny. There's a clarinet sticking out up here. Looks like it's a... I'm not sure who it is. So just make sure we're listening. We're blending with some like one clarinet playing that line. And we have some really some large pitch discrepancies between clarinet and flute. A little flat on that pitch. It sounds like it's horns or saxes. Let's listen. Let's let that chord lock in. Sounds like oboe's flat as well. So, do we have a hard rubber mallet to use for the tempo block part? I'd like that sound better. I'd actually rather have a stick sound if I can't have the rubber mallet sound. The hard plastic just doesn't sound good to me. It's all attack, no tone from the tempo blocks. I feel like maybe this might be too fast for the ensemble. Missing some of the clarity in the 16th notes. They're not quite together. Yeah. Oboe's actually playing fairly sharp throughout all this. articulation, trumpets. Tia, 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 tia. The tongue should be playing the dotted quarter all the way through that section. Ta, 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 tia, ta. Want a little bit of separation between beats 3 and 4. Yeah, overall articulation is getting lost up here. I think we got to be a little more fronts. We have to add more fronts to the notes, so accent each note just a little bit more. We got to make sure we put some daylight, some separation between the dotted quarters, particularly in the low brass. Yeah, I don't know that I would dampen the timpani like that. If you're wanting something that's more articulated, then I would use the mouth you're using and maybe play more towards the center. But I'm getting attack and no tone. Excuse me, out of the timpani. So drags, you're going to do a bounce, then a stroke. Bounce, a stroke. Zda, zda, zdigga digga da, zda, zdigga digga da, zda, zdigga digga da, zda, zdigga digga da. Okay, nice job. Nice job. A couple of some things that I'm noticing at the end is that we have a tendency to let long notes fade away a little bit, and if anything, we want long notes to almost sound like they're crescendoing, or maybe without doing a full crescendo. But we want to make sure that they have full sound for full value. So, thank you so much for your performance this morning. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed performing for us, and I'm getting ready to come back and work with your group in just a minute.
Good morning, North Bend. This is Steve Kuske from Vancouver, Washington. Nice clarity at the beginning. Oboe's a bit on the sharp side, but playing really well. Yeah, good energy. We're not getting all those notes, but there's good energy. That's tough at that fast tempo to get all those notes. Be careful that the background figures here aren't covering up. Those 8 notes, separate 8 notes, just should be very background. Tune those melodies. Flute, alto sax needs to be in tune. see, what am I supposed to listen to through there? The melody's getting covered up a little bit by the background figures. We need a little more transparency here so that we hear what we're supposed to hear. Wow, good aggressive approach. Yeah, we're not hearing all of these 16th notes accurately. Nice job, horns. And we need a bit more clarity here and transparency. It's coming just across as very busy, and I think if we put more space in between these notes, it's going to speak much better at 161. Anything full 2D like that it has, in other words, everybody playing, we need to shorten up the notes a bit, put more, not shorten the notes, but make more space in between the notes, so that creates, it's much easier to actually hear everything. Nicely done. Boy, what great energy you guys play with, and so mature for such a large group, man. It's hard to imagine getting a group this huge playing that technically strong. Is it perfect? No. Is there still 16th notes that we need to get in order? Yes. But you're attacking it securely and with confidence, and that leads me to believe that you're eventually going to get that. Saxophones, check your intonation through here. You're on the flat side. Beautiful. I think what we need to do more now is just take these melodies and shape them a little bit more within each phrase. Beautiful sound. Clarinet's in that low range, not quite in tune. That ritardando there going into 74 I think could be more organic. You almost made those last two notes into quarter notes, and I would like to see it more flowing into 76, and not so abrupt. A little bit bright here. Keep it warm. Beautiful. Some really nice music made there. Just though this piece especially is real easy to lose sight of intonation along the way, because it kind of shuffles between chords and has lots of unisons on the melodies. So just keep working on tuning individual chords. You're doing such a good job now. To get it great, just needs a little more attention to those intonation issues. All right. Variations on a Korean folk song. Beautiful. Clarinet's so gorgeous in that range. Very typical here to not have good intonation between those clarinets. and the flutes above them, and we're sort of falling prey to that too. It just didn't. Clarinets, you were fairly good in tune, and then when the flutes came in, there was two tonalities, two intonation set pitch centers created. We got to get those lower notes, horns. I think you can slow down more and hold that last note with measure 37 longer. Well, you played the fast stuff with good energy. Yeah, we didn't quite end that with as much confidence as what I expected from this group. That last 2 and a 1 or 3 and a 1. Make it final. You know that though. That just didn't happen the way you wanted it to. I would recommend maybe starting with this piece and ending with Firefly. Just, I don't know why this seems like it would be a better beginning piece. Maybe because Firefly is more modern. It definitely works this way too. That's not a problem, but it just seems a little odd going from the tonalities, the modern tonalities of the first two to the more standard repertoire here. I'd like to hear more clarinet color here. Ooh, you're going to go fast. Yeah, trombones, be careful at 140 not to cover up the woodwind melody. Same thing here. This is a little better because the trumpets are helping out here. I think I would accent the quarter note here on the timpani. I think it should be boom, boom. I wouldn't go yum. I think just straight forward through this timpani. shaping can happen here. Zup, digga, 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 zup. Yeah, I'm hearing a roll on the 16th note. Digga, digga, da, zup, digga, digga, da, zup, zigga, digga, da, zup, zig. Yeah, I think he's rolling through those 16th notes. Hear these 16th notes. Digga, 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 da. Don't shy away from those. Okay, good job. I think my preference would be to slow down the tempo just a little bit and work for more clarity. And sometimes we play fast, and that covers up some of the... it doesn't cover up the issues, it just makes us not aware of them as performers. And we start just kind of like, woo, this is fast and energetic. And up here we do get that clarity. And this is such an advanced band that I would like to hear more clarity. You're so technically doing great things, and I wouldn't want to cover that by just playing really super fast. Okay, so there's lots of good things going on. Great big band, and you play like a smaller band, and that's a big compliment because you're playing. Usually big bands have real trouble playing fast, and you are not in that category. You're playing things almost too fast at times, but really well done, well rehearsed, and you obviously have some great training. Congratulations.